Valve is at it again. First footage of Valve's Steam machine shipping in early 2026. You mean the sequel to the piece of hardware that flopped already? Like the follow up to the Steam Deck? Like Valve entering the hardware ring is and always has been going to end in disaster. Okay? It is a complete joke that this company that essentially runs uh, GameStop on gaming PCs will ever succeed in the console space because nothing they do is competitive. They can't succeed. They have basically just recreated the GameCube. And I wouldn't be surprised if this thing was less powerful and had less games. Like, it is remarkable how many people, every single time Valve tries to do this, gets all excited and starts saying that Valve is going to win and that Xbox and PlayStation are finished, when in actuality, nothing they ever do is competitive. Like the Steam Deck was outsold by the Switch 2 in a matter of days. Like it was shocking how the Steam Deck was supposed to be this massive competitor to the Switch, this thing that would usher in this new era of PC gaming handhelds, and it just completely flopped. It was a fart in the wind. It was like the Atari Lynx of its time, right? It was just dead in the water, Sega Gear tier failure. Okay, like to this day, people still refuse to acknowledge it. Like people still want to believe that the Steam Deck was highly successful. And now here we are with Valve doing the same thing again, but with a video game console. And this is the funny thing about this, right? This is the thing that really gets me about Valve's foray into video game consoles, because this is the thing that Valve fanboys don't want to admit, is that the Steam Deck and this thing are indeed video game consoles by definition. These are video game consoles being sold to a demographic of people who hate video game consoles and see them as inferior and see them as limited. Like, this is being sold to PC gamers that don't want to play on dedicated gaming hardware. Right? They want to be able to like pirate their games. They want to be able to illegally mod their games. They want to be able to like do things with their hardware. Something like this really has no demand for that audience at all. And for people who are interested in real gaming hardware, you can get an Xbox, PlayStation, or a Nintendo Switch 2, right? That's simply the reality of this thing, is that the market is already saturated and Valve really has no place in it. Who exactly are these machines going to be sold to? Right? Valve fanboys, they hate consoles. It's an important part of the PC gaming mindset to never support consoles and not care about them at all. Like what is this thing going to do for the general gaming audience? And for me, it's just something that obviously has no appeal at all. Like, what exactly am I going to do with this thing that I couldn't do with my far more affordable Nintendo Switch 2 and my gaming PC? Like, it has no value, it has no utility. And this is clearly Valve like kneeling and acknowledging that there is no market for PC gaming, that they've essentially monopolized their market, their niche, and now they're trying to branch out into consoles. But unlike with Nintendo and their branching out into parks and movies, merchandising, which is like incredibly successful, Valve is essentially trying to go up against the Nintendo Switch and failing. Like that is the reality of this, is that there is no possible way for this thing to compete with Nintendo consoles in the near future, right? Like every other Valve's attempt at hardware, it is going to be supported for like a year and then be discarded for the next thing. Who do you know who's even still talking about the Steam Deck? Okay. Outside of like hyping it up as like some anti-Nintendo thing, the Steam Deck had no momentum whatsoever. It was a complete and total disaster. Okay, I don't even believe it sold like 5 million units yet. At least it hadn't when I last checked. It was like 3.5 in like 3 years or something. And now it's like completely forgotten. And that was with all these tech channels hyping it up as this huge monumental thing, the best gaming tablet you can possibly buy, like there was all this hype behind this thing. And in reality, it just had no impact. And this is going to be the same exact scenario. Like Valve cannot produce gaming hardware. They cannot produce consoles. Consoles are just so far beyond what Valve is capable of that they're going to have all sorts of weird issues. They're going to be faulty, they're going to make weird noises, they're going to like crash your games, it's not going to be a very well made piece of hardware whatsoever, right? It is going to be the exact same scenario as the Steam Deck in that people will try and hype this up as a big major game changer in the gaming space, like they did with the Steam Deck, only for it to fall completely flat on its face. Okay, and the more Valve does this, the more they put out these hardware flops every decade, the more people will start to notice the patterns, like how Valve doesn't support their hardware, how faulty it is, how unresponsive, how gimmicky, how it just cannot compete with what Nintendo is doing with their video game consoles, right? Like, who do you know who cares about the Steam Deck in 2025? Like, in a matter of 3 years, that thing has faded into complete obscurity, and now no one cares about it. And how here we have Valve putting out their take on the GameCube. Like, it's like, what the hell? What do they think is going to happen really? Like there is no enthusiasm for this thing at all. Like nobody's hyped for it, nobody wants to play on it. Like it is just going to be a complete disaster. I'm very curious about how badly this thing is going to do and how much the tech world is going to hype this up, because it does need to be like said more that Valve is not some major hero in the gaming space. Valve is not some like culturally like defining brand. They are not innovating. They are not introducing new game franchises or characters or hardware. Like they are just 20 years behind everyone else and are only just now moving away from the inferior PC gaming model to the far superior console one. Valve is doing their best to break in the console space because they know, perhaps better than anyone else in the industry, that there is no future in PC gaming.